Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Welcome back to Due
My uh, my
Process.
my camera's frozen on 10 minutes ago when I was eating a croissant, so that's beautiful.
So it's
Can
like
we
it's like your profile picture. You're fine.
strike my
There
profile
you go. You
picture?
got no camera. You got a pro. Oh, what you trying?
Uh I don't know what's going on. That's not me. Okay, well I look like I'm enjoying that croissant, so there is that. Well, I'm gonna remake my video link and well, I'm gonna send that to Gundam who's on production. But well, like Melvin said, we're back. Sadly, Revenant had to go. He needs to play in the match that we're gonna cast. But I do have the Melvin man joining me here on the desk. What's
Yeah,
up, Melvin?
we spent all our money on Revenant, and so they had to downgrade and just get me. So you know.
Well, it is what it is. Um, Rev was I love Rev, having Rev on the desk, but it's been a while since you and I have done one of these casts. So
I think the last time we casted was literally our first ever cast.
mm,
I I
maybe.
I think it was. I think it was our first ever cast. It was like my first cast and your first cast, and they put two color casters together, and we're like, "This'll go well." And it was the most awkward cast.
I don't
But
know.
we just got off an electrifying LCG versus Global Breakout game, which, as you and Rev pointed out a lot, there was a lot of surprising things that happened that game. Things that, and I think you said a lot of things that I was agreeing with, which was the everyone wants to beat Global Breakout, like they're only preparing for that. It's like everything else is standard, but it's like, okay, how do we beat GB if we are to face GB? Do we just roll over or do we actually like, aim for the jugular?
Yep.
And LCG
There we
was
go.
LCG was aiming for the jugular, just they were missing, on certain some
Okay.
rounds.
Well,
Like I think on round 1 they hit, but then the Global Breaker just kind of came back, but
it was
it's a good game.
overall, it was really a mix. It was Global Breakout not playing at their peak because they did have two subs, and again, it's not on the subs; it's just on the um, Global Breakout as a whole not having the comfort that they usually have as a tried and true five. They kind of had some people switched around. Ender, I've spoken to him post match. He said he hasn't even touched scrims in about 3 weeks, so it was definitely um, challenging to get back in there. But well, they still pulled it off. Okay, and yeah, I think it was a mix of Global Breakout, maybe not having their stable five, and LCG actually playing surprisingly well. Like they've been doing well throughout the league, and they've also been doing well throughout the playoffs so far. Well, they've only had one match, but still. Let's talk about the matchup on hand, though. It's going to be Yakuza versus Bingus. So, what do you think about that?
I am a Yakuza fan when it comes to this. I think
Okay.
Yakuza usually proves to be like Global Breakout light, like Diet GB sometimes. I think they can be very strong. Um, but I think where their weakness is when they go for these Global Breakout executions. Uh, we'll just say like really intensive rushes. Sometimes it can get disconnected, and when Global Breakout stalls, they can kind of notify that they're stalling and recover. I think Yakuza, once they stall, they sometimes struggle on bringing it back, on like getting out of the stall. And they can get collapsed on. And usually it results in like one or two round losses, but then Yakuza can just immediately come back and be like, oh, it's okay. We know what we're doing. That was just a simple mistake. We got it now.
Okay, so what's your score prediction both for the World Series and just game one?
For this one, so for I think for the whole thing, for the whole series, I think Yakuza wins 2-1.
Okay.
For this first game, I think it's going to be close. I actually don't know who's going to win the first game because the first game's always weird. It's usually some teams being like, "Oh, we just woke up," or "Oh, we're coming off of scrims," and uh, I think it's going to be a 7-4. I think Yakuza will win it 7-4.
Okay. Well, I gotta say I hard disagree with that one. I do think Bingus take this probably 2-0 in my opinion. But we do have the lobby ready, so let's jump into that. Let's start actually watching our match because you've had enough of our faces, you've seen us, and well, that's all you get.
I just gotta turn into the caster that's like, wow, this team is really good, and it's like you're actively like showing me the stats. Like, see, this team literally performs better, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna take the other one.
I absolutely do think Bingus win. Maybe a 2-1. I think it's a 2-0. Um, a prime example of just the knowledge on that team is Revenant. He was casting the last game with me. You could just tell the man is literally filled to the
That's
brim
true.
with
That's
just knowledge about the process. And it feels like, Yakuza, yeah, they were a solid roster. They've had a little bit of a shaky season. They ended up still qualifying for playoffs in the end on the last play day. But it feels like Bingus are just comprised of these like all stars. Like Josh, he was referred to as one of the best Zoo process players before I even joined the community. He was like the what Plebdo is now for a comparison. Then we have Gravy, just an insanely ratty player, but he is pretty much the backbone of Gnomes. Without him, Gnomes have had an extremely shaky season. And I think they're also playing in relegations, right? They didn't qualify for playoffs. They're playing for their spot in Upper League at all. So Revenant is there as well. Marbles is there. I just feel like that is such a stacked roster that it's not even a contention on who's gonna win this.
okay. I totally forgot that Revenant was on his Smurf, and we were just talking about it before game. And then for some reason, we load into the game, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. My brain is completely like Revenant is not a part of this. It's fine, but yeah, I totally forgot that uh, Revenant is just in terms of, as you said, game knowledge and gunplay, like incredible. So
Oh,
we get to see it in action. We get to see if this all follows through in the execution phase.
yeah. I gotta be honest with you. I feel a little bit bad for just dismissing my you brother so early on, but I do think they just take this without any major problems. First up, though, we should probably talk about the map because we're already deep into the action phase. It's going to be Factory. It's a pretty big one, and that is pretty much standard. We do see a Grim Push coupled with a Storage Breach on red. Ghetto's going to be pushing in. May's going to be the first one to swing. He finds one. Can he make it two? Nope. Shut down by Photon early on. And now Server Farm is also going to be pushed out. Joss in a horrible position, getting pinched. Doesn't even find the first one as Photon makes that two for him on the round.
Yeah, Marvel's immediately backing off onto server farm. From server farm, kind of run back through dock. He was kind of doubling back. He was afraid they were going to push him, but they actually did not follow up on the push. So Marvel's was completely open. But they weren't able to capitalize on it as spotted. Marbles gets a shot on. It does not connect. Three of them just kind of stalling out here. Marbles fires another shot, another miss as they're able to push up here. Revenant coming over the swing. Jet on the and gets himself away, and it falls to Revenant as Chrome Trigger is picked up. Marbles next up on the list. It is a 2v2. Revenant not giving them any room. It's Tommy trying to find him. Photon up here to go for the bomb, and Tommy's gonna fall to Revenant here as Photon realizes he's gotta deal with Revenant first, but can he finds both of them, or even one of them, as both of them now reveal themselves to him. He's getting pushed from both sides. It's not looking good, Photon.
He's on low HP. He still has the mulling fucking to use, but that first swing finishes him off, and that's going to be all she wrote. The interesting thing in this round is that Gravy, I don't know if that's something that he did during the round. By the way, Gravy's micro's got a fat ass. Picked him up. He was on Allegros before, which is not something I'd expect to see Gravy playing. I'm not sure if that was like something picked last second, if that was something that he picked up mid-round. I actually wasn't paying enough attention.
Yeah, the big downfall was losing the Saber immediately. Like, Revenant had his back turned to Fan. He misses the first shot, and then when Revenant turns back around to fight, Revenant wins the fight against the Saber. And so now there's no Saber. On a pretty lengthy kill on a pretty lengthy kill house coming up, and we'll see what they decide to do. They could just breach into Pillbox, use 2 charges here, go the long way through Checkpoint into Break House, and just green door it, or red door into Break House. This is a kill house that you can kind of do a lot on, so I'm interested to see what Yakuza decides they're going to do here, and how Bingus adapts to it. If, as you said, what we see last round from the defense, I'm inclined to believe that your prediction may be correct.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what ends up happening here. But if you've ever in the past heard me cast kill houses, I've always complained about these big open lumber yards that take up about 50-40% of the map. I'm just not a fan of these. It feels like the charm of kill houses is just, these little corridors, angles, a lot of rooms, a lot of wall bang potential, and then you just have like this one big slob, two of which walls are outside walls that you can shoot through, and it's just like, it just feels so out of place. I know these were like the OG kill houses that were very popular before I was even in the game, but it just, I'm not sure I'm a fan of it, man.
The lumberyard is kind of the newer addition to the kill house. I know there was another one where it was like the garage. I don't know if you've played on those kill houses where it was like the big garage. Some of the garages are like open where there is no door. You can just walk right on in. Some of them you can control the shutters to them, and it's like, it was interesting. I don't know if we voted them out or if they're just on hold, but there's a lot that they do with Kill House, and there's a lot that you can do with Kill House, because, it's a Kill House. You can do whatever you want with it. Make it whatever you want.
Well, we'll definitely see what Yakuza makes this round out to be. A smoke came out early on just to 90 pillbox swings, or at least make them all. No one's actually playing that. First point of contention is going to be Gravy, who's playing the auto shotty marbles. Helps with a nice molly throw there. Now just Chrome and pillbox. Everyone else is section off outside. So if Chrome decides to push up, he will be alone. But there we go. The molly's out. The wall charge is on the wall. And that's a pretty swift push there for you. Definitely need to watch your flank there. So I'm playing Lumberyard. Ghetto doesn't quite find them just yet. He's actually looking in the wrong direction now, but Josh is taking care of. Or he deals massive blows to Yakuza in this round.
Starting to get wide as the funneling into the auto shot, and they're going to pick up two there. Photon goes down, and now it's just Ghetto. But never mind, it's not Ghetto anymore, as he is going to fall to Mace. And, the dangers of funneling when the auto shotty is available. The amount of damage, and the fact that Josh wasn't taken care of, and the consistent damage he was doing from Lumberyard was also just massive for Bingus right here.
Pretty swift 2-0. We have Mace on 500 damage in 2 rounds, which is, well, absolutely massive. We see Josh 270, Marbles 260, Revenant 250, and then Gravy falling a little bit behind, but even when your team is just putting up these massive numbers, it makes sense that not everyone gets to deal a lot of damage. Jet's still in 0 on YY, which is, well, again, not something you'd, generally expect. But we'll see. He can maybe get some damage in during this round.
Hopefully. I mean, we got a nice long kill down map. It would have been very nice for a Saber here, but unfortunately they don't have it. They lost it on the first round to the fan. Luckily, also, the defenders didn't pick it up. Unless it fell down. I don't think it fell down in, but I think it was still outside. So they're gonna, looks like they're just gonna kind of green door this one. They don't really want to mess with Castle Pit, and that's fine. Usually, this kind of map is played two ways, I think. You're either doing a beach jungle split, and you're not giving a crap about Pit or Castle, or you're just committing to Castle, knocking power out, and then storming the bomb. But they're opting for the latter, the first, sorry, not to deal with Castle or Pit. They may want to go around through Pit into the top of bomb site to kind of do that split, but I don't think they're going to mess with Castle at all. But I don't know if that blue line is going from jungle or to jungle. I don't know if they're doing the split there.
That's an interesting question, TBH. It is the last round in the split, meaning that whatever utilities in used is lost, and that is exactly what Bingus is aware of. They will be bringing 3 barbs here. They will be just throwing them all down. Additionally, also one on the green pit doors. But let's just put our attention towards these 4 actually barbs, just kind of blocking people from base from pushing into jungle. And when you see those 4, nade, sorry, excuse me, we see those 4 barbs, if you don't have a nade ready for them, which Ghetto has in his pocket, by the way, you may just be very tempted to push into base instead and just not deal with those barbs, and that may be what Revenant and company are actually going for. They're maybe trying to force a funnel from pit, which is arguably easier to hold off than, a push from
Oh
base.
my goodness, what a molly. Chrome is hanging on to his life right there. As the Molotovs are just coming out to solve for time. Good shots go out there. Marbles and Gravy gonna get first 2 picks onto Photon and Tommy. Chrome gonna snap right back onto Gravy there as Revenant rotates into Castle. Storming the beaches, much like their forefathers did, and they're gonna be able to take the beach pretty quickly after. Losing 2 of them, though. Jet's going to fall to Mace, not connecting any shots there as Chrome and Josh are into the firefight of their lives. Chrome loses, and it's all up to Ghetto with that grenade. And it doesn't look like he's going to do much here as he's got to funnel on in, and Josh is just going to dump the remaining of his mag into Ghetto. A very dominant 3-0 start for Bingus.
I'm, feeling very good about my 2-0 predictions here.
I'm feeling very bad about mine, so that's good. Yeah, I think you were absolutely correct. It's bad to go against the European bros, but my goodness, that was very aggressive. Looking at the charts here, you can see the damages. Like, there's just a vast difference in the damage output and even the openings. So far, all 3 openings have gone to Bingus, and they have won all 3 rounds. Marbles winning 2 for 2 of the engagements, Mace for 1, and all of the Yakuza members haven't really won much of their engagements.
When we talk about the fact that Mace is in 3 rounds on almost 800 damage, those are some plebdo numbers right there. And, well, Mace has always been a menace. The menacing Mace, that has a ring to it. But at the same time, I think he's just really putting on a show tonight, and I do hope that he can keep it up throughout the rest of this series here. But why don't you take us through this factory? Because round 1, we were still kind of rambling about the teams. We weren't actually focusing on the map.
Yeah.
So why don't you break it down a little bit?
So, we've seen this factory a lot. This is kind of one of my favorite factories to play in because it is... I like Defender long range. So, when it comes to Defender, I like playing long range. Ingmar, Legros, the Mop. As much as I love the Tub, I do like the long range utility Defenders have. So, a lot of times we've seen on this map, Defenders use Dock to their advantage. Dock is not really breached too much, especially when you've got server farm, you've got power. Fan is an overwatch. Usually I would send a Saber to Fan to kind of give that overwatch as everyone else is doing their push, usually to get power or server farm. But Defenders can use this entire Dock area back here to their advantage. Even if Office is given up, attackers still have to funnel out these windows here. And Dock is a strong position back here, especially when you have the trucks open. You can use that as cover. Pipeworks being a strong point as well. There's a lot in this back area that Defenders can do. Like, Defenders don't even need to be in server farm or storage. They can just give power and just have the flares set up in the choke points and just hold them. They have really good long sight angles. Making it like very difficult for attackers to get through if that grenade doesn't clear the barbed wire or they're not able to get that pick with their knife.
I do like this barbed wire that's right here because, well, if you're an attacker pushing from server, you can jump up on the railings. You need to actually
push through. Yeah.
Push through. I have a few questions about why this barb is set out so far away, but again, we'll end up seeing it. All glow is coming out though. Mace and Marbles there to take a little bit of damage early on, but nothing too fatal just yet. Tommy's going to be playing close in the corner as well, so they need to be wary of him as the entry utility usage is going to be their best friend. And even though Yakuza have 2 and 3 marked on the map, it's actually going to be a push round. It's just Marbles on the breach now, holding with the Saber all alone while the rest of his team pushes from server farm and even holds Fan passively.
They totally did what I said doesn't happen a lot. That seems to happen by chance. They breached on the Dock, and Ghetto's going to be the one that goes down first by Revenant. As Revenant crosses over to Dock, doesn't know that someone's on his left here, but he does get that slow peek there as next to go down. Tommy and Marbles going down at the exact same time there. Chrome falling to Josh. They're going No, not going to trade. Revenant's going to pick up Josh. And Jet is now the last one with Mop, as Mace and Gravy are creeping around the back here. Jet completely unaware Gravy is below him, and he will fall. So that's the Mop gone. That is a lot of long range gone, and only 2 members of Bingus fall.
Well, I mean, first of all, Rev is a menace. I'm glad that he finally got a standout round because he's just been on those backlines so much. It's been Mace fragging out a lot. It's been Marbles fragging out a lot. And then Josh. Rev has been kind of silent, but he had a really good round. So, well, there's definitely that. Also, if I'm Jet in that one between the end, I just try my best, and I try and waste as much op ammo as possible because Mace has picked it up now, and well, let's see how many bullets he has if he actually picks the gun up in his hand. He wouldn't, but I assume there's quite a lot of bullets left in that mop, and well, keep in mind, if you're an attacker, shooting defenders with the mop, you will one-shot them wherever you shoot them, so you gotta be extra careful as a defender now, and at the same time, we're already 0-4 in favor of Bingus.
You're looking, your team, your prediction's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. It's very. The strength of Bingus right now is just, as you saw last round, it was like, oh, well, this was marked, and that's not what they're doing now. They just adapted. They just changed on the fly, and were able to do it pretty well. And I think that, in terms of due process, is like, I think that's the better team, in my opinion, is obviously gunplay comes down to it, but it's the ability to adapt, like, on the fly. Yes, you can say, oh, well, you know, we do this, so this is kind of the common thing to do. But on that off chance that they don't do the thing that you predict, you need to be able to change to that. You need to be able to adapt. That's why people like Global Breakout sit so high. It's like, oh, they didn't do that thing? Oh, good thing that we know what to do. All right, swap, and then they can figure it out. It's why we see, like, Plebdo and Akazo just basically swap off on mopping or sniping or whatever, because just they can do it all. They can adapt, they can change things on the fly. And we're seeing that they can just change on the fly and get that win.
Well, we'll definitely see what happens here. It was a pretty dominant round for Bingus when they were defending this one. Let's see if they can attack it with the same amount of ferocity. I don't really think it's possible, but I also do want to see how YY end up defending this one. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this map in general. It feels like the map is just kind of cut in half, and like in this kitchen you just play the foam barb, you can play for wall bangs, that's pretty much it. You don't actually probably hold kitchen unless you have active players playing in lumberyard and they need to rotate out later on, but
I don't think I've seen anyone ever hold kitchen on this tile, on this map. I think, yeah, it's usually everyone's kind of back here, maybe the one in lumberyard, maybe one getting a cheeky pick in pillbox. But yeah, kitchen and checkpoint are usually untouched by the defenders, from my experience of playing it. But some slow vibes here as they just kind of look for checkpoint, go to see, oh, is anyone out over here in checkpoint? And to their dismay, they're going to realize no defender is on this side of the map. As Boxy said, perfect line, and every defender is above the line.
Definitely see that because there's going to be kitchen funnel and it's going to be hard getting through as Barbecue to have a nade for it. Marbles does have the nade, but he's a little bit reluctant to throw it for some reason. There we go. Finally coming out. No. Yes. No. Maybe. I'm not so sure why Marbles is reluctant on throwing. We'll see what happens. Mace does go for the mob shot. Doesn't quite connect just yet. Everyone's still at full HP pretty much besides Marbles. Having taken just a little bit of damage. Nope. Not anymore though. Mace finds the entry onto Jet. Still a whole minute left though as the push commences.
Revenant's gonna get that flash on in, rushing in there, but Chrome's gonna fight back with the auto shot. As Gravy is firing through a pillbox. Photon and Chrome able to hold down Office there on that push that fails. And Mace and Gravy, well, Mace is outside. And Gravy with the AK kind of deciding whether or not he needs to keep going in. But this is looking like a Yakuza round so far. Photon's the only one that's really hurt, sitting at just over half health. Chrome taking like 5 damage. The auto shotty and Knack really holding down that Office push there as Gravy not deciding if he wants to push in yet. Oh, he does see Chrome isn't able to connect any shots there as Mace is just sitting outside with the mop. And I think he only has like 1 bullet for the mop. Double check there. I can't really see because he's zoomed in right here, but I think he went in with the round with 4 or 5 shots, by the way. I know we were talking about that
Yep.
in the last round.
Well, I mean, like I said, first round for Yakuza, but it may just be too little too late. We'll definitely see. They can get a few more rounds in throughout this whole game. But so far, I don't think one round means anything with how dominant Bingus have been in, the other 4. So, well, we'll see. I actually missed Chad. Revenant said next round pause, and we're starting him back in, no pause needed. I missed all of that, so I'm glad he's back in time. It is what it is, though. We're on kill them once again.
Real danger. Real excitement.
Are you excited?
I love Kill Dome. I think that's why maybe people don't like me. It's because I genuinely think Kill Dome is one of my favorite tile sets. It's just fun. It's a fun tile set.
It's definitely grown on me. I'm not gonna say it hasn't.
Look, are there better tile sets? Yes, but Kill Dome is just fun. It's chaotic. There, my frustration with Kill Dome I think is the same with everyone else's. It's Pit, and I think Pit can kind of be reworked to where it's damaging, or not damaging, but like if you fall, like you get hurt, or not in terms of like your actual player, but I'm for one being like, just make it water and like the exit is like on the other side of like Pit. So like, if they were to fall down like near the castle side, like they walk off it wrong, like the stairs for it are like here, like they've got to run all the way around. So like if you fall, the only thing you're losing is time, not your life.
I mean, I kind of like Pit for what it is. Yes, it's definitely annoying at times, but at the same time, even as a defender, it makes you vary of like how you're pushing, how you're positioning, whether you're an attacker or a defender. If you're an attacker, you still, even if you're pushing someone, if you're trying to shoot someone, swing someone, you still need to be wary of not walking into the lava. And likewise, as a defender, if you get flashed and you're trying to move there, you're more than likely going to end up in the lava. So it just makes you it punishes horrible positioning, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that.
It, like does what it needs to without being. Well, I guess you're right. I think it just really punishes like newer players, but like for people that know the game, they kind of know their way around it. But it's still there for if you panic. Speaking of, they are going to blow into castle. Mace still has the mob. Let me just check. He has 2 bullets in it. So that's 2 kills. Chest shot is a 1-shot kill on defenders. It does 135 damage. Defenders only have 100 health. And Josh is going to get his feet slightly toasted there as the Molotov goes out onto jungle. And Gravy slowly creeping in on Beach. This is a 1-1-3 push.
Well, Josh did deal more damage to Photon than he's taking. Flash is coming out and Photon will soon fall thereafter. The defense is just disconjunction at the moment. Ghetto finds one on refrag and Jed is going to creep up and try and help. Will that be enough? Josh finds another one. That's 2 for him on the round. Jed decides to start falling back. Mace finds Tommy. There we go. That's one of the kills that you mentioned before. Still has 1 more mob bullet to go. Jed and both just in Pit now, which means the attackers could start tapping the bomb. Actually gets aggressive. He's Mace. What the hell is going on? Marvel finds Jet to close out. I'm losing my words here. I'm really losing my words here. But the fact that somehow Mace won that fight with the saber, onto the auto pushing him is mind-blowing to me. But like you said, that's 2 kills, 2 bullets. You just need to hit the body shots. That's exactly what Mace did. So, yeah. 5-1.
Very, very dominant half. Like even the round that Yakuza won, it just seemed like, oh well, Bingus made a mistake. It's okay. They got it next round, and they definitely did. It started a little dicey. They lost 1, but then it just reconsolidated. And Mace bringing a mop with 2. I would never bring a mop with 2 bullets. I'd be like, well, that's just kind of a waste. But like he's better than me, so the fact that he was able to like get 1 and then win that gunfight at close range against the auto is incredible. So he gets all my respect.
that
It's
one,
tub
like you
time.
said. No, rule 150, no tubs.
Ah, it's tub time. It's
No
definitely
tubs.
this
You're
is a
literally
tubbable map.
you're literally banned if you bring a tub.
That is a tubbable map. Very upset that
That's
Due
it.
Process Twitter
cancelled.
did the tub
You're
time.
cancelled.
Clearly,
Cancelled.
I invented tub time.
Cancelled.
But I know I didn't invent tub time. I know that was Tanky that did tub time.
Well,
But this is a close range map, nonetheless. Regardless if a tub is brought or not, it is a close range map. It's the start of a new half, so the auto shotty is back in action. It can be played. And it could be brought here, but we are seeing the plethora of close range in the Gruber, the Knack, the short AK, the short KR. And it seems that Bingus just don't want to mess around. They're just, hey, we're going to take the front door, and there's probably going to be a barbed wire where that Molotov icon is, and we're just going to go straight on in. But they've done a good job of kind of predicting what the barbed wire placement is going to be, and just basically watch these long angles. We're just going in the front. Be careful. Like, you can see
Yeah.
their plan is just clear cut. They know what they got to do. They're in, they're out.
the defense also seems wary of those lights in the bathroom, and Riven and I already had a discussion about why lights are usually not as good, if not outright bad, on Siege Store. So we'll definitely see what happens. And this does give me some PTSD flashbacks to a round we casted on with Fallow last week. It was also Yakuza playing. It was also Chrome, I believe. I don't remember, but he was also in bathroom stuck protecting those lights, and it ended up costing him his life in the end, where the round was very winnable, and they ended up losing the round off of that, so I didn't want to see how that goes out. Anyways, though, it's a great choice from a storefront breach. Jet gets the entry onto Mace. That's a huge opener for Yakuza, just one that they needed so far in this series, because, well, it hasn't been open wall for them. Gravy's now alone in office, and he's just playing this passively. I do want to see what he does next. On the other side of the map, storefront, there's going to be Reverend Marbles and Josh pushing in and trying to find an opening. Nothing has been found so yet. The bottom part of storefront has been secured, so has been Freezer, and, well, just scouting for control.
And the defenders aren't really giving them any chance to get a pick here. They're not really peeking out. They're just kind of getting their shots to the map. Chrome is pretty close. So Josh is going to rush forward and get immediately dropped by Ghetto. Ghetto gets aggressive. So does Chrome, and Marbles is going to go down here. Chrome spinning in circles, doesn't know what to do. Revenant drops him. Chat rushes up as well. Just rush after rush, after trade. And there's Gravy and Teller. And then Wallace is probably given. Jet just forfeits his life. And now it is a 2v1, and with Tommy being low, it's definitely winnable for Gravy if he just plays his cards right. And Photon is going to get risky, now he's at the half health.
30 seconds left, one flashbang in Gravy's pocket, but will he actually capitalize on it? He needs to go, and he needs to go now. The flash sadly misses, and, well, that's probably going to be the end of him. He does swing, free-fired in the right direction. There's one more to find. Can he find it? Yes, he can! That's another round for Bingus, just barely by the skin of their teeth, but they push on to match point. Melvin?
Can I just say that was very poorly played by the defenders at the end there? Like, in the beginning, it was fine. In the beginning, it was fine. Beginning, Yakuza was doing okay. And then at the end there, why did Jet peek the hole? Why didn't they just wait?
Anytime you lose a 1v3, you must have done something terrible. Like, that goes without saying, to be completely honest, but... You know... It's a win nonetheless. Bingus, they push it on to match point, and it's going to be a quick one. It's not going to be a 7-0, but it's likely to be a 7-1, maybe a 7-2 if we're being generous to Yakuza here.
You had a 3-1. All you had to do was watch the door, but you got greedy? You thought, it's like the people in Siege, right? Like, it's the one left alive, and he's just watching the door, and they're like, just go at him one at a time. What could... And then that guy aces, and you're like, what? That clearly you funneled into him. That's what he wants. He wants the one-on-one. You gave Gravy the one-on-one treatment, and he won all of the gunfights.
I mean, to be completely honest, the last two people alive on Yakuza, they were trying to hold a crossfire between, the teller's doors, or the teller's corner, rather, and then the arcade. But Gravy, he pre-fired the first one, and he managed to somehow switch around 180 and go for the second one. So the lack of decisiveness there and just coordination from Yakuza is
Yeah,
what ended up
definitely.
costing them the round. And a 2-4 would have been a very, or sorry, a 2-5 would have been a very different scoreline. But no, we're actually so close to finishing this one off. And it's super funny to me because we all thought that LCG versus GB would be the really short game, and then maybe this one would be a little more evened out, even though I think everyone's money still was on Bingus. But this just turned out to be a super quick one.
I mean, the impossible could happen. Yakuza could come back, and it'll be a glorious 6-6, and everybody'll clap, and it'll be fantastic.
Well,
But
I mean, if you just look at our Twitch chat, if you look at the predictions, 46% of people, or rather 46% of the channel points were bet on Yakuza, 54 on Bingus. So, at least, the people expected a close matchup. 5 voted for Yakuza, 7 voted for Bingus. So, it's definitely not as close as anyone would have expected. But, well, I'm just glad my predictions are turning out okay for once. Because usually I'm the one that says something and then the opposite happens. Not this time, though. Bingus is on fire.
yeah, the only round that they really slowed down was a funnel that the auto shot was able to truly fire on. So let's see if Photon can, exact some revenge here with the auto shotty onto Bingus here. His shots are going to go out into loans, and they're going to be sneaking around right now in the vents. And
Look
right
at what
now, it's
Mace is
just a
doing.
waiting game.
Mace is just outside. I think he's going to pull up to accounting later on and just flash forward when he gets to the closer. I think that's the only feasible way of having him outside. Maybe the late though, because Rev's going to be the first one to fall. Is going to be Chrome getting him. Bulletin still has the auto shotty and still waiting patiently in bathroom. It could be absolutely devastating if Marbles and Josh don't check that out or clear that out smartly instead. Baby's there with them as well. Oh my god, they're just about to funnel through the barbed wire. Can he get them? There we go. That's the one, but it's actually Tommy picking up the kill. They're all focused on Tommy now, and Photon can go out. He gets one. Can he get Gravy as well? He plays this as passively as one could. Still 11 bullets in the auto, and, well, everything's falling apart for Bingus. Yakuza are in the driver's seat, at least in this one round. Mace now on the other side of the map. Will allow Neek to pull up to
Gravy's gonna get caught in the barbed fire as he brings down Photon. The revenge of his fallen friends, and it's all up to Mace to do a 1v4, hit the button, do a backflip, and defuse the bomb and save the day. But I don't think he can do that with 30 seconds, so this will just be a let's go for KD stats, boys. As Flashbang comes out, hides into bathroom, he is going to try to save the auto. Or at least hold it in bathroom to see what happens as Ghetto fires onto Jet. Jet walks into bathroom and is promptly executed. It is occupied, dear friend. And that's gonna be it. It's gonna be a Yakuza round. It's gonna be a 2-6.
It will be indeed, and like I said, 7-2, very feasible, but I honestly don't think that Yakuza get more rounds. Maybe one more. But I don't think that's very likely. Tommy, though, he will find Mace in the last second before the bomb exploding. So, well, at least we're padding the stats a little bit on the side of Yakuza.
Get the auto shotty back.
Also true.
So the auto shotty has been their downfall for those 2 rounds. The auto shotty has been like the auto shotty knack, but for the first one and this one was the auto shotty and the long range help with KR and a nice choke point. So that seems to be what's getting Yakuza the round wins, is that auto shotty. So I know it's close range maps. Anything that's kind of long range, we're seeing Bingus just walk on in, stroll in fact. And speaking of long range, a very nice long range factory.
Look at how strong Bingus are in opening. Just looking at YY stat line. Ghetto 0-2 on entry, Photon 0-2 on entry, Tommy 0-1 on entry, and Jet 1-2 on entry. So they just lost so many opening, and they've just headed into so many rounds with a disadvantage. And I feel like that's what's hurting the most, is they lose people so early on, and there's no refrags really coming off of that most of the time. We're in factory though, so you want to break this one down for us?
Oh, this is another long-range factory for mop and saber enjoyers like me and yourself. I like setting up an office with the mop, get that long-range angle through the walkway onto the server farm green door, so you can hold a lot on these walkways. Walk out onto here, see out to here. You can even sit in office and hold the boiler room. There's a lot you can do in office with the saber, or with the mop, my goodness. But if they are to break into office, nothing is stopping the mop from just jumping down and holding back here onto dock for still those long range hold. So it'll be a case of if Jet can get the shots landed, he should be a menace, and they should be looking out for him. But then we've got Marbles on the Saber, who could also take advantage of these long angles if he is able to take care of Jet or find the unsuspecting defenders that they're going to grab. But if they go into server farm, they could cut the power here. Let's see if they have night vision. They do have NVGs, so this looks like they're going to be going to server farm for that power play.
Well, I'm definitely excited to see if that's the case. I feel like lights on factory most of the time are extremely strong. So, let's see if Bingus can capitalize on that. Again, they only need one more round to close out game 1. So, as soon as they get that, the sooner they can get into game 2, the more they can conserve their momentum. If they let YY get a few more rounds, yeah, YY gains a lot of confidence going into game 2, or at least they could. And, well, that's not something you want to give to your enemies. Entry goes to Chrome Trigger, who somehow gets Josh, and while the flashes and the smokes were coming out, he wasn't actually refragged upon. Chrome, he's still in full HP, and he's just playing there like a menace inside of server. He finally falls back now, but he's already done the damage. Dogtail comes out now. Marbles shooting in the right direction, but sadly doesn't get any kills just yet. And it's only a door charge breach. Keep that in mind. So they can only... They've created a sightline, not a walkway. Marbles knows which direction to look in, but he doesn't actually find any Chrome with the second one onto Mace, and it's effectively falling apart for Bingus at this point.
Chrome picks up a third as he runs around there, but he tries to escape with the grenade, make out like a bandit, but he gets 3. As Marbles is just going to get that sightline there, Tommy drops to Revenant, but Revenant is very low after that exchange, and Marbles having to rotate around now, support his teammate here, as Ghetto, Photon, and Jet are still alive. Revenant can pick up the grenade again, get rid of that barbed wire there, and we're waiting out here in server farm here as Jet. Flashbang comes out, Jet is full flash, as Marbles goes, so does Revenant. What a win, and that is for the 3rd round in a row that the auto shotty has been in play. Like Chrome on the auto shotty, just insane.
I mean, Chrome's like 12, and auto shotty is pretty much the only thing he does, but when he does it extremely well. And, well, I guess that's what they teach you in kindergarten. I don't know.
All right, now make sure, kids, you rack it back, okay? Now we don't want any hands getting stuck. I mean,
no,
but like,
God.
a very strong hold by him though in server farm. It punished all of, even though he dropped at the end there, it didn't matter. He got 3, a 3 for 1. That's perfect. You did, salute you. You did your job, soldier. Like, you're good. But
Well,
it's 3-6. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen, but it something is happening.
speaking of being good, I think we should ask Bingus if they're good, because they don't seem like it. They've been on match point for quite a while now, and they just struggle fighting this last one around. The roles are finally reversed now, which means that Bingus is on defense again, and they've been extremely strong on defense in the past. So let's see if they can maybe put in the work they need. Again, it's just one round. This one round has been proving quite difficult to actually secure, and it may be on C-Store, where, they already had a clutch when they were attacking. Maybe they do it on defense as well.
Fingers crossed. But they seem to be, Revenant seems to be marking like a crossfire here. They kind of want to watch out for Office, barbed wire in your green doors, as well as Freezer. They want that crossfire into Freezer, Bathroom, but it's kind of the same setup. We're seeing the same setup, the same attack, pretty much from both sides here. Almost the same defense. So going back to what you said the first time we played this, you were talking about times to take the power and times to not in C-Store.
Well,
Um,
90% of the time, just don't go for it.
yeah, and like that's something I've actually been like saying, like when I play is like people like, why aren't you going for power? I'm like, just because power is there, even if it was the only power map, just because power's there doesn't mean, oh well, we have to hit power. This is the only one. Like, no, you don't. It's there. And C store with the emergency lights, it's just there's so much reflective services as well. Like, I don't know, just yeah, just because it's there, you don't have to do it.
Yep. Speaking of things that you have in a map playing Bingus, they need to stop the bleeding they've been having. They need to actually close this one out round. I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's true. It looks like a pretty round. No one's rotating around the queen yet. And so let's see if Bingus can actually hold down that push. Josh is the leg roast, and he's trying to wall bang into Freezer and trying to find a little bit of damage onto Tommy. Photon, though, is the one to take a little bit of damage instead. Marbles with the auto shot. He finds one, gets greedy, sprints out, gets shut down by Tommy in a refrag, but Gravy's there and picks up Chrome. That's absolutely massive. Chrome has been such a massive damage dealer for his team that him off the board may just be what Bingus need to close this one out.
And they're kind of stalling out here in the middle here. Revenant's going to be playing the teller there, and he drops Ghetto there as they're not really sure what to do or even go about this as there are bullets flying from all sides. Tommy with the auto shot is opening. Once he opens that door, he's going to be at the longest range of his life with the auto shotty, and that's, you know, past 2 tiles, this thing does minimum damage, so not really going to be doing much here, but Jet has the Saber. Revenant is going to be the main source of pain. Sitting here in the teller here, and Tommy just kind of forfeits himself and runs into teller there. Mace is gonna problem. It's all up to Jet. 1 man and a green here. 19 seconds too slow. 7-3. Bingus.
Oh. There we go. They finally somehow brought it. So, well, let's look at the stats real fast since Gundam pulled them up for us already. Chrome Trigger, the most damage dealt in the lobby, still wasn't enough to carry his team to victory. Mace, top fragger of his team at 1.4k, Revenant second with 1k, Gravy 900, Josh 800, and Marbles 800 as well. So they're all kind of there, hovering in the same area.
Look at the first 3, though. The first 3 on each team. So you got Chrome, Ghetto, Photon.
Yeah, they're kind of evened out.
They're pretty much, it's like, in terms of damage in the whole lobby, you've got first, second, and literally by 1 point of damage, Photon being 4th. So the problem relies when you look down at the bottom is even though, you know, compared to players, their damage is lower, as you said, it's consistent. Josh and Marbles at the 800s, whereas Tommy and Jet, 560 and almost 270. And that damage discrepancy is where you see the round loss. Is that even though Josh and Marbles are at the bottom there, you know, you see Marbles 3 assists, 5 kills. Josh 4 assists, 5 kills, and then the difference being Jet no assists, and then Tommy with only 3 but 4 kills. So even though, you know, you've got Josh and Marbles low, they're still getting those assists. They're still getting that damage out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Marbles 3 for 3 on first engagements. So even though he was bottom on his team, look at what he contributed. He did a lot.
Marbles was really the person to create those openings when his team needed them, even if he ended up being refractured after. He was like, he found those little cracks in Yakuza's defenses or offenses, and he somehow enlarged them enough for all of his team to work with that. But unless you have any closing thoughts, we're going to throw it to a 5-minute break, then we'll be back with game 2 because, well, these are best of 3s in the playoffs here. We're not done after 1 game. We could potentially be seeing 2 more in case the Yakuza miraculously come back in game 2.
Let's take a break, why don't we?
Well,
welcome back.
Yeah, we're back, and this time I don't have a croissant in my hand, so I guess we're improving slowly but surely. It's been a short break, just 5 minutes for the teams to get rejuvenated, have a quick talk, for us to get a little bit of water, and for you guys to maybe catch a quick bathroom break or get a snack or anything else that you need during DPL. But Melvin, you've seen game 1. What do you think about game 2? What's gonna happen?
If the momentum continues, I think we're just gonna see the exact same thing.
Okay.
If Yakuza kind of does the typical I guess just gamer instinct, you know, like, oh well, we see now what they're bringing to the table today. Let's adapt to that. Let's just prepare for this. Let's we ironed out the kinks, so we all warmed up. I think we'll see a much closer game. They could take this one, but if that momentum from Bingus is just we're here to win, let's just close it out. It and they could have ironed out their mistakes, as we were talking about a little bit over the break. Just some of the mistakes they were making is that it could just be a 7-1, a 7-0 if they've ironed out their mistakes. So it's whatever team has refined their their play style, we'll see a different game.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, let's check if the players have queued already. No, no, they have. There we go. They no, yes, no. I'm not sure.
No, maybe yes, no, maybe so. Let's go.
I don't know. They just the game is buggy for me. It keeps showing the squad and then not showing the squad, and I'm no whatever.
Oh,
Okay,
it's
well, it
not.
looks
It's
like
they're not in yet.
yeah,
They're not in yet. So what
looks
about
like.
you? What about you?
What about me? What?
What do you think's gonna happen this game?
What do I think's gonna happen? I think Bingus win this 2-0. I think we're gonna see a similar scoreline, maybe a 7-2. 7-3 is likely. 7-4 is acceptable as well for me, but I think we stay at 7-3, maybe even 7-2. So those are just my predictions. I could be proven wrong. We could be seeing another 3-mapper here. That's definitely possible, but something desperately needs to change on the side of Yakuza, and I'm not sure if they can do it in the 5-minute break between the maps. So we'll see. Maybe it's gonna be more luck next time. Keep in mind these playoffs, they are not only best of 3 but also double elimination. So whoever wins this, probably Bingus, is gonna face GB tomorrow. Whoever loses this, probably Yakuza, is gonna face LCG tomorrow. Nothing is lost for them yet, besides the first and second place contention. But yeah,
Bingus and GB. That'll be a good one if that goes through.
that will be a good one. I would love to cast it with Rev, but well, unfortunately, he's probably gonna be playing in that Bingus game. He's just wow, he's been so insightful today. But yeah, let's see what is happening. Ta-da-da-dum.
Still not active yet. So what was some of the things I guess going on last game? Like what were some things that you noticed for good if you're gonna praise Bingus, like what are some things that they did really good and what are some things that I guess if they are to face GB, what are some things that they have to fix?
I'm sorry, I was just looking at the coordination channel. Yeah, I'm waiting for the teams to queue. There we go. Thank you, Gundam reminded him to do just that. But what can be fixed? I honestly don't know. It just felt like um I hate using big words like this because it always looks like I prepped them before the stream, I feel like. But Yakuza's attacks and defenses, but mostly attacks, excuse me, they seem discombobulated. They seem all over the place, and it's just they don't seem to be on the same page on what they're doing. The comms don't seem to be that. When someone dies, a lot of the time we've seen just so long for the rest of Yakuza to react to the calls that happen, that I assume and hope to happen at least. So I think it's the comms being on the same page that's the biggest thing for Yakuza. And for Bingus, they started off really well, and then they probably just got a little too cocky. They were like, okay, we got this in the bag. We won, what, 4 rounds in a row? We can just kind of start sprinting in, just taking the ones, and that's where they ended up losing a few rounds in the end. So I think that's the biggest thing, just keeping your confidence in check for Bingus and working on comms being on the same page for Yakuza. What do you think?
No, that 100%. I think the because you saw those attacks that Bingus lost, and
We're in game battle.
it was the ones. Oh, are we?
Yes.
Heck yeah. Let me load in. As those attacks that they lost, it was ones that, yeah, they were just, we got this, run on in, and then the auto shotty punished that. And so you can chalk that up to, oh, yeah, yeah, Yakuza, they've got this. Or you could chalk it up as a, well, that was kind of silly for Bingus. They kind of knew something was there. That's an obvious choke point. Why did they run on in there? That seems a little silly. There weren't, now, the factory one with uh, Chrome playing close and him getting the 3 picks, that was really good by him. That was a really good play. I think that was a genuine win by Yakuza. The first one that they won was definitely, I think they just sprinted on in, and the auto shotty just went, okay, here you go. And same with the second one, they just didn't check bathroom at first because they thought, oh, he hasn't peeked out yet. We're good. They walk through the barbed wire and then, are immediately
Are
punished.
are
Oh,
we are you guys loading in? Because I was just stuck on the loading screen for like a minute.
it
I see the
just
players
finished for
asking.
me. It took a little bit for me, but we're on
We
bank.
we we do need to pause if we haven't yet. I'm gonna restart my game because I'm just not being allowed in. The process being process. Did we pause the game?
Can he pause? Does Gundam pause the game?
Gundam should be able to, but you're also able to just press the button.
Oh, okay. Boop.
There we go. And then let's see if they're all in, and wait for me if. Yeah, but well, why don't you take us through the map since we. Like you can unpause, you can unpause, you can unpause.
Okay,
I'll
all right.
just connect on argue with them. Yeah, if they got Revenant to reconnect, it doesn't matter.
Well, they do a nice Squidward for us.
Okay, yeah, take us through the bank though.
Okay, so what do we got here? We got bomb and bomb. Ugh. We got bomb in the vault. Same old, same old. But we got the button way over in Teller, so it's one of these. You can't stall. Stalling is dangerous, especially when the button is so far from the bomb. So you have to get to that button, clear that side out, then push over quickly. It's depending on what the attackers want to do. It looks like they want to do this accounting loan split, which would be a good way to kind of pinch in on whoever's in Teller. But it kind of looks like they want to have the people going through accounting, secure manager, and then whoever's coming through loans, they're in charge of taking the teller. So this is the dangerous. If one push fails, the whole thing kind of falls apart.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if loans fails, the accounting push is in trouble. And the accounting either needs to work their way through Hall or just get out and around and go through loans. So, and it seems that Revenant has a wall charge.
Yeah, but also seems like it's gonna be a 3-2 split. Maybe even.
Oh, they've
more?
dropped the clacker and wall charge outside there.
That's a risky one. I guess they wanted to use them, then decided to, well, not do it in the last second. But them saving it outside red, it relies on them actually surviving and winning this round, and then having enough time to defuse the bomb and picking those up, which are two huge variables. If you've messed up, you may as well just bring it. But maybe not. Rev is still just waiting patiently outside, so maybe he will. He's just gonna flash over and then he's gonna pick the two up and still breach. That's also a very likely possibility. Could just be a late breach. We'll see what happens, though we've already wasted almost a minute, and
I think I know what's going
alive.
to happen. But I just want to see if it's confirmed as the shots are exchanging there. Chrome dies. Mace just shoves his body into a bunch of bullets as Ghetto is going to fire on down. Flockel and Ghetto picking up Mace and Marbles. Marbles to die in loans. And yes, okay, that's what I thought was going to happen. They're going to do a very late accounting push to kick down the red door to wall charge into Teller. That's what I thought was going to happen. As Josh picks up Tommy, so now Ghetto's the only one over there on that bomb site, trapped in security. Photon out in the lobby, and Flogo still holding Teller, but I think Flogo's kind of picked up on what's going to happen there, as Flogo loses the fight with Revenant. Revenant, Josh, and Gravy all low, though, as Ghetto also falls down. It's only up to Photon, who's way over in lobby. He's got to go through, and then the bing-bong noises definitely alerting that someone is in security. Josh picks him up.
Yeah, I mean, with how far away Photon was, that was the way he was making it to the bomb. There was a bomb, he had to go to security, there was people watching it, and even if they weren't, there's just no time to rotate fast enough, so clear, or at least clean enough round for Bingus. I wouldn't say it was completely clean, but also, was okay. It ended up working out. They secured the first round, they still had 3 people alive, albeit low in HP, so, yeah.
That was interesting. It started off kind of weird. The waiting for Revenant outside became more and more of a question of, is this really going to work? And then they were able to finally secure accounting, get that red door open, and then their plan went into action. But they were low. Both Gravy, Josh, and Revenant all low. So in terms of like gunplay, it was close. Just with them barely able to edge out there. So that was one of the closer rounds we've seen. We're gonna go on to C-Store now. A much more open storefront. Freezer kind of looking down onto the storefront there. Arcade, teller with a nice crossfire there from like the fridge to teller. But it looks like Bingus doesn't really want to mess too much with that left side of the map. They just want to, hey, watch out for that freezer as they shoot through, and we're just going to go through in the front, go around, clear fridges.
Yeah,
Smoke there to block the teller.
Bingus also saved 3 AKs. Look at that. 2 long ones, 1 short one, and a molly on round 1. Meaning that defenders are probably in a pretty huge deficit gun-wise. Economy-wise, whatever you want to call it. So I do want to see what they end up bringing, but I would assume it's going to be Nax, the Grubers, maybe even an Ingmar or a Shoddy. I guess leg roses are a possibility. I personally just can't stand them, can't use them. But I feel like we've seen the leg rose quite a bit today, so, you know, never say never.
A lot of people sleep on the leg roast, but I understand it's a very situational weapon. You know, the semi-automatic, while it does do a lot of damage, you know, you've got countless guns that out rate of fire you and can just put you down faster than you can put them down. But oh well, a lot of fast rate of fires, both an axe being picked up here, as well as a Gruber, short 8K, and Chrome with the auto shotty, firing away.
Definitely see what ends up happening. I would have hoped for Chrome to just do an Argo-like run out, but that's not going to be the case from what I can tell. It's going to be a breach onto Freezer red door with a door charge, and I'm not sure if they're expecting Chrome there as close. Gravy's going to be the first one to push in. Nope, he backs off right off the doors. He's going to live to fight another day. But now there's 3 Bingus members just scuttling one another. There we go, that's 1. But he's quickly shut down right after a molly comes out from God knows where, actually. I assume it was Ghetto throwing it in.
Yeah, Ghetto.
He's going to be the first one of contention there now as Bingus are pushing into Freezer. They've already established that. Next up on the checklist is Freezers, and that is exactly what's going to happen. Josh, Marbles, Rev, Gravy, everyone's found a kill. It's up to the lonely Photon. And there you go. Rev gets the second one on the round. He's the only
alive.
one. 2-0. Pretty
dominant.
Pretty dominant. Pretty anticlimactic.
Chrome had a very good 3K right there, but once he got the 1, he was not able to connect onto Gravy at all. Like, look, Gravy was point blank, and he is full health. So the fact that Gravy was able to do that while sustaining no damage from Chrome, I don't know, man. That was a very fast one for Bingus, just to kind of basically be like, we know what we're doing. It's okay.
That's very true. Well, I did say so. If you know, if we did see a similar start in game 1. It was, I think, a 4-0 before, because they even found a round of their own. It took them a little bit to figure out how Bingus were playing, but so far it's been very dominant for Bingus. So if they can keep it up, I think we could see a 7-1, 7-2, maybe even a 7-0. Though I do think, or at least my European brothers at least get 1 round on the board, not potentially more.
Be nice for Team Europe to, you know, get a couple, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Team Europe is already happy today. I feel like LCG, yes, they lost to GB, but they put up such a better fight than anyone would have expected them to. Rev and I were... excuse me, yeah, I still cough a little bit. Rev and I were computing rounds, and I think it was 19 for GB, 13 for LCG overall, which no one ever would have expected under the stream. So I think EU's left satisfied today either way. But having Yaokuza also put up a better fight against Bingus and challenging the NA supremacy in this game currently, I'd be happy with it.
We gotta give NA something, okay? We've beaten them in so many other games, Boxy. We gotta get them. We gotta let them have something.
Wait, I know you're Scottish and all, but you don't consider yourself an American based off of the fact that you've been living in America for so long?
I don't have citizenship, so...
That's not my question. That's not my question. I said, do you consider yourself American? Do you root for American teams or do you root for EU teams?
I vote for EU teams. I don't really vote for much NA teams. I'm a G2 fan, so...
Well, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I'm European. I'm European.
and I thought I was special.
It's not like I came to the stage and was like, everything, abandon the past, this is all new. But yeah, I'm
Tom,
pretty European when it comes to like team. I don't know, cause like I watch like League and stuff as well, so like I like my European teams.
well, that's fair enough. I mean, EU is better in most games, but not in due process. NA has been dominant for a very, very long time, and it's been quite a while, at least as far as I know, since an EU team was really at the top. But maybe that changes sometime in the future. I'd definitely love to see it. I don't think GB are going anywhere. Neither are Bingus. Okay, that's Photon getting one. Flowable with a second one right after. Josh also takes a lot of damage, but Tommy, Gatto, Flowable are all low on HP. 1-2 shots will kill them all. Chrome with another one of his own. It's up to Marbles and Mace, and at this point, well, they need to come up with something. Mace gets one, but
Mace
also
gets
team
two?
goes to Marbles. Yeah, well, technically it was two. You're correct. This is the last round in the split, meaning that, well, it doesn't make sense saving any utility. Doesn't make sense saving the saver. You just got to go for the kills. Maybe pad your stats a little bit. The mob shots coming out, not connecting. And, well, that gives Mace a chance to maybe shut down a few more people before his untimely demise. But it doesn't look like that because they're not even letting him enter the building. Can he find at least a few more, though?
Only finds one.
Well, I think that's pretty much it. He's low on HP. He's 50, which is, well, 1/3 of an attacker's HP. Not too good there. Okay, never mind. He finds two. 35 seconds left, but I guess this is doable for... If it's doable for anyone, it's doable for Maze. He's just a force to be reckoned with. He also picks up the door charge and a collector, which means he could get rid of a barb should there be one. Sadly, it's the wrong door, and the mollies are going to be denying him out of sight. There's no time for him to clutch this one up. A few wall bangs, and maybe he can get a few more. Nope, Gatto finally going to clean him up, and, well, 2-1.
Well, Mace, he sprung to life, but I think it was a little too late at the end there. But, I mean, look at little Tommy and Gatto are definitely winnable. But they ultimately clutched through. It's 2-1, so not a, not a 3-0. They got one.
The fact that a 1v5 or a 1v4, I guess, since the team kill happened at the same time, the fact that a 1v4 happened, like, went down to a 1v2 with both of them being on 1 to 2 pistol shots is, sure, it's a win for Yaokuza, but it's worrisome.
Yeah. Especially when we saw the last one, a 3v1 turned into a 1v0 and a bomb defusal, so it's rough, man. It's rough. You can't just always assume that, oh, it's just one left. Because that mentality is when that one person, that's what that one person needs. He wants you to underestimate him. Because that's when he will clutch it. The amount of times I've won 1v5s in, like, either due process or any FPS because of just people being like, just run at him in a straight line. What's he gonna do? Oh, he's killed us all? Oh, okay. So, and, like, that was kind of it. Just, he has to come through that door. Peek him. Oh, I died. Okay, don't worry. I'll peek him. Oh, I've died. It's like, okay, how about we just wait for him and throw the Molotovs and just act like, this is the last round and we need to win this. Like, just play it slow.
Well, we'll definitely see what happens here. We're on bank once again, and this time it is Chrome Trigger and the rest of Yakuza attacking. Let's see if they can get another round on the board, maybe tie it up. But again, Bingus have been especially formidable on their defenses so far, at least in game 1, meaning that I think they get in this set. I think they get again at least 2 out of the 3 rounds. So I think we go into the half either 5-1 or maybe 4-2.
Yeah, if the momentum keeps going, it's not looking good for Europe. But we're just gonna have to see how these guys play on defense, see if that momentum keeps going, if our European brothers are able to fight back. But we're gonna see first with this lobby push, they're gonna have a 3-2, unlike before where we saw Bingus go through accounting and a late push. Technically a green push with a kick into accounting and whatnot, but We're gonna see if this split works there. As the smokes go out, the door charges initiate, the vents are broken, and everybody's in, and the shots are going out. Josh holding very close with Lobby, as Marbles is the first to fall to Flogo. Josh not even seeing behind him as Ghetto gets him from behind. Gravy goes down to Chrome. Europe strikes back.
Well, Rav and Mace are not in a good position. Rav's going to be the first one to swing onto Yakuza there. He's looking at the right doorway, and they know he's on the other side of that. They haven't pressed the button just yet. They're trying to push out of security first and not have their Flogo boy barricaded off by those doors. Slash is coming out. Rabbit's full flash, and he will get taken off. It's a 1v5 for Mace. Can he pull it off? He was already close to a clutch last one. There we go. The first one comes out. He's still on 50 HP. Can he make it too? The first coming out, but nope. It's Tommy shuts him down. And it is another round.
That was actually Yakuza domination. That was a very good round for them. That was very clean. It was very precise. Josh had no idea he was being flanked. The kills on them in tellers, precise. The flash on Revenant, beautiful. Very good round. Very good round for Yakuza. And I'm not going to take that away from them at all. Nope.
Yep, that's very fair. It is a and this was a very clean round for them, because last round was kind of shaky, was kind of worrisome. This one is a real proper 100%
like they
Yakuza
put
win.
their foot down. They firmly planted them down.
Yeah, everyone but Photon also got a kill. It was almost a team ace on Yakuza. It was Tommy getting 2 instead, but still, you know, close enough will approximate. And I'm curious to see what ends up happening in the future rounds, because, well, honestly, getting more and more intense. I feel like Bingus thought this would be an easy one, and I thought this would be an easy one, but somehow Yakuza are still hanging on.
Yeah, 2-2. So let's see what happens. We go back to C-Store, see how each team goes. Oh my goodness, brain completely fried there. As we swap back, we're gonna see if the teams either commit to doing what the other team did but better, or if we see a change of plans. But it seems to be that the attackers also want to favor this storefront, and Bingus kind of seeing that, well, that kind of worked for us, they may do that. They're wanting to opt for that barbed wire placement there to kind of slow them down. They've also got this focus on storage to kind of see if there's maybe a storage push as well, and with a hold in freezer. There's probably also going to be someone that sits in teller just for the sake of giving callouts, as well as you know, being able to shoot through the little coin slot, you know, down here. But
oh,
they're gonna bring the mop. That I just saw that there.
do you want to see what exactly they ended up doing with the mop? This was the discussion that, again, Rev and I had earlier. C-Store
I was there
mop,
for that.
yeah, definitely viable for anyone that wasn't. Definitely viable, but with how close quarters, just C-Stores in general, I think you need to be even more coordinated to mop successfully than maybe on other tile sets that are a little bit more
Yeah.
open and allow for more rotations and just, you know, kind of getting away after firing a few shots. Because here, if your position isn't 100% flawless, and if your teammates aren't backing you up with mollies, with opening doors, with swings even, then you're just not going to do much. You may get that one body shot, maybe even one headshot, but you're probably going to get chased down and refragged if you're playing against a competent team, unless your teammate is there, or your teammates are there to help you, rather. And, well, let's see. I think if there's one team that can play, or that can help their snipers play on C-Store, it's probably Bingus with how they've been playing today.
Yeah. That's definitely something we talk about off stream, is the importance of having that support player with the mop, like to support him directly. Because I know that's something that like you definitely do as well, like having that support player with you, and you're very deadly. And speaking of deadly, lots of gunfire, as Revenant is the first to drop to Ghetto. Josh immediately refrags onto him, as well as Mace puts the photon. The wall charges off, and Tommy is immediately put down for his crimes, as Marble is traded for that. 2v3 as Mace backs off, Josh reloading. Flogel drops to Gravy in a fridge crossfire that was not at all even contested. No smokes, no flashes, no hope, as Josh eliminates Chrome with the mop.
Well, I mean, there we go.
What a round to prove that the mop works on C-Store.
Absolutely does work. Josh put it in massive work. Actually, we do want to pull up the stats, see just how much damage he got on in this round. The stats have been a little bit buggy for me today, so let's see if it actually shows the damage. Doesn't show how much damage he added. We're gonna have to message Index about this one because, well, it's a little bit broken, but well, still, he is at 916 damage. That's 216 ahead of Mace, and well, Mace is ahead almost. What is that? 300 ahead of Rev. So Mace Josh, the duo, really just kind of carrying Bingus right now, at least damage wise. Obviously, there's more to it, like comm stats, IGLing, whatever. But still, Maze Josh putting in so much work. On the other side, Flugel at 800 damage and Chrome Trigger behind him at 516. And everyone else just kind of slowly trailing behind Chrome. So both teams kind of have like this one or two people that are just doing so much of the damage. And I don't feel like Flogel's usually the one that you see high in Yakuza. I do want to know what's going on in the team at the moment. Flogel's usually more of a mastermind, at least from what I know from the few times that I've played with most of the Yakuza. I don't know, the fact that Flogel is top fragging right now, or at least doing top damage, is a little bit worrying for me.
Yeah, it's a little interesting, but this is one of the more back and forth games we're seeing between these two. Like it's getting pretty close on both sides, like dangerously close. So I'm hoping with how dominant that last run was, that's the momentum back, and we see Bingus strive forward. Or if this is just going to be a continuous back and forth, and now we see Yakuza being like, oh, never mind, that was a blunder, we got this one, and they just bounce back onto this one. Because this was one that they won on attack, so... Or on defense, rather, I'm sorry. And so, let's see if on attack they know that, yeah, we can do this, and they've got this reception office split going. But they want to go through into Hall and into the courtyard and kind of look through, and that's interesting. Hall is usually a death sentence, so I'm interested to see how this works as they all wait in the truck, wasting about almost 20 seconds.
The fact
15.
that Josh is just playing here solo with the mob, I'm not the biggest fan of because he has absolutely no support. If he gets overwhelmed, if he doesn't get off or out rather after his one shot, he's just playing his life there, and I'm not a fan of that with the mob. It's such a powerful weapon, but let's see if he can maybe put in at least some. There we go. He's smoked off.
There. Yep.
The wise thing would be to just sprint back to Burnt House and just live to fight another, but he's holding his ground, which is, I don't know. Revenant's gonna be the first one to fall. Flogel's gonna be the one to scoop him up. He just overextends. Ghetto is gonna fall from, I believe, the window. There we go. Josh gets pushed. He does get the shot out. Misses, though. And that was such a thrown away life from Josh. I really don't get that. At least fall off the brick house doors and then hold this angle. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
They have 5 Molotovs. And 2 of them going at the same time. That's actually kind of bad. Because that gets rid of that one extended Molotov time. So that's kind of 8 seconds wasted right there as another Molotov. Grenade. But yeah, that Josh play, yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. He should have, the smoke was up, yep, should have rotated right back. Autoshot he rushes out though, and only gets one. 1-for-1 trade as another Molly goes out. A 3v2, and the last Molotov is thrown. So right after this, they gotta go. They gotta sprint on in there and find those kills.
Well, Bingus has already wasted up so much ammo. Revenant there with the wallbang angles for Mace to just kind of help him out. And if he just shot right now, it would have helped him. But nope, sadly no. The flashes are coming out. Mace can play the bar frags, but no, he fires prematurely. He gets taken out, and Tommy at the last second, he actually finds Marbles as well after Marble shuts down too. If Mace had just stayed a little bit more patient there, wait for the barb sound, and then pre-fired, he would have stayed alive, but he got shut down by Flogel. And then valiant effort from Marbles with that one spray. He found both Chrome and Marbles, and Flogel, excuse me. But it wasn't enough. Tommy.
They'd communicated those Molotovs. They would have won.
Well, so much.
It was like millisecond, like there were seconds apart. That would have been another 8 seconds you add to your delay, but since you threw them both at the same time, it was maybe like, I think one was thrown maybe a second after. So it was like, instead of being 8 + 8 second denial, it's like a 9-second denial at that point. you know? Because
Yeah, there are just a bunch of small misplays on the side of Bingus, but they ended up all adding up, tallying up to huge mistakes, and they ended up losing the round just off of that. So I can't help. I can't help but feel bad for them. I do still feel like they've been the better team. They deserve it, but Yakuza somehow is answering all of their rounds. It's currently at 3-3, and that's something that I didn't predict. I said 4-2, maybe even a 5-1. Didn't predict the 3-3. So I'm glad to have been proven wrong. But my throat is a little bit scared of going to a game 3 potentially here because I may just lose my voice by tomorrow. And apparently I have 2 best of 3s to cast tomorrow. So that's going to be fun.
yeah, I mean, I'll be available. So if you got to tap out at one point, you're
I
in good hands.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
I'll be doing map obzy for you guys tomorrow. But hey, we're on Kill Dome, my favorite map. If I could play the soundtrack right now, I would. But Jungle seems to be the site of interest where Tommy just wanting to get straight on in there, as well as the beach push. So that's going to be a bit interesting. Usually you're going to have people overlooking under jungle into beach to maybe get like a couple damage off. People playing in castle just to watch people crossing into pit. Just an interesting kill dome. This is one of the weirder kill dome sets. Like it seems so straightforward of just okay beach bomb or jungle bomb, but if you do one of those, you're essentially funneling in, and the defenders will have a field day.
The one thing that I would expect to see here is a barb right here. And no one's placing that just yet. That was a barb that I think was shown to me by Reptar. And it was like, if you place it here, it just forces everyone to come close on the doors and you can contest them easier. It doesn't really let them get behind here, so you can just, kind of worry about these angles. Which I really liked. It was a really interesting one. And if you just have like someone close on pit doors, and then you have someone far away, maybe like here, just protecting the long angles, I feel like that could work pretty well, or even in castle potentially. But it's actually just going to be a very aggressive 3-man base hold. Make that just 1 man though, as Marbles and Mates both fall back right onto the side. Josh with the mob shots though, he will get rid of Crumb Trail prematurely. And it's Yakuza on the back foot going into round 7.
And that's dangerous. They've been able to usually capitalize on these wins when that happens, but Ghetto and Josh gonna exchange shots. No one really connects there. I think he does get an arm shot onto Josh. Josh is at 50%. Running on them there. Flogo's gonna drop to Mace. Photon refrags Mace. Gravy refrags onto Photon. Tommy dropped by Josh. It's all up to Ghetto in a 4v1. 4v...
He does find the first one.
1v3.
Yep. 1v3. But at this point, if he just decides to save the save round, I think anyone would blame him. He is low on HP. There's still, 2 rounds to go. There you go. The Quacker recovered as well. No way to not save now. He's still swinging that pretty boldly, which is very interesting to me because, well, at this point you have the Saber, you have the Clacker. There you go. You're better off just falling back and not giving them the chance to take you out, even if just by some mistake. Gravy pretty aggressive there with the swing onto beat just in case Ghetto, tried rotating around, picking something up from beach, but I don't think there's anything really to pick up there. So everyone on defense is just chilling. Nothing much to do.
Just everyone can. I guess the defense kind of waiting to realize, is he saving or is he pushing? And I think with Josh holding jungle, I think they're realizing, okay, I think he's saving. Gravy kind of doing the looting that he could on the 2 bodies that were there. But since Clacko's recover, I don't think there's really anything to pick up for them. And we go into the next round, it being a 4-3 for Bingus.
4-3 indeed, and again, much closer than we expected it to be. But Bingus still seem to have the upper hand most of the time in these games, and it's been pretty dominant as well. Again, we finished the last round with 3 people and Bingus now. We finished this round with 3 people and Bingus alive. They're just kind of, when they win, it's going great for them. When they lose, not so great. But we haven't seen many dominating YY rounds besides that one bank one.
I'm hoping that can change. Because those are fun rounds when like Yakuza can show that, hey, we're here, we can beat you, and like And because we've seen that from them, we've seen a dominating push by them. We've seen coordination. We've seen them really just walk in and like own the map. But then there are some rounds that we just watch, and it's like, did they swap out the players? What happened this round? Like, it's almost like two different teams. Like they swap in and out, and like they're. I think you talked about this earlier. There's like consistency issues. Like we're not seeing consistency.
Yeah, I agree with you. Agreeing with me. Well, we
I
call
agree
this
with you
lost.
for agreeing with me. You're right.
Well,
Smart man.
yeah. Well, Flogel has just crashed, so we have a few moments, if not minutes, for him to load back up, and we get to talk about this beautiful factory. So, why don't you go ahead?
I don't know. I go. You're so kind.
Well, you're the color here in this instance,
Courtesy
I think.
bow. Yeah. Well, we've got what looks to be they want to take that office control, and usually when it comes to office in factory, the office is one of two things. It is the greatest thing in the map, and you need it at all cost, or there is no point to even being in that thing. Don't worry about it. This one is in the middle. It's you don't have to play in it. You can just look up onto it. They have to kind of funnel out, or it could be you hold up here and you can cover a storage entrance. You can get onto pipeworks and cover a lot on those pipeworks, or you just play back on dock and just not worry about office. Just have that barbed wire. And it seems that that's what Bingus wants to do. They want to just kind of barbed wire that kind of run out onto pipeworks and not worry about it. And it seems that uh, Yakuza, on the other hand, want to contest office. They want to get into office as well as get into server farm. They want to kind of pinch in on that north side of the map onto pipeworks. So we may see the defenders kind of play back near conveyors, storage, and dock side to kind of have that bottom side of the map. Depending if they want to fight for server farm. If they don't want to, then they're going to be back on that back side of the map.
Okay. Let's just check if Bingus are ready. Since yeah, okay, they're ready. There we go. Well, okay, we've unpaused. We've also seen a few beautiful drawing on the map, so thank you for that. But we do have a little bit more prep time in this factory, and I am interested to see in what actually ends up happening. The office push, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I do see the appeal of it. It does give you, like, you can just see a lot from the office, and you can also go for the lights immediately. And I do think defenders are aware of that. They're probably holding that as well, but they also are ready for a potential storage push with this bomb. They're ready for a potential server farm push that is, well, definitely happening based off the markings from the attacking team. We do see a 3 and a 2 here, which means 3 are going to be going server farm. 2 will be pushing or breaching office, and I assume it's going to be a rather late breach, but we'll definitely see what ends up happening there. Or at
One of
least
the defenders
it's going to
could
be a
play
passive.
back. They could
Yeah.
play back in this truck and really watch this long angle. But
The thing with a long truck is that there's very little cover for you there unless you get specifically behind the box, and I'm not sure if that's not
if the
too
angle,
steep
yeah.
of an angle there. Yeah. So if you're to play a truck, I think you play one of these other ones. You play them close. You just hold as much as you can, and then you fall back, and you don't need to fall back quite, the full distance if you do get pushed out.
Josh trying to go for a pick off the bat there, but the beeping of the UAV kind of gave him away as they were very careful approaching that window. Flashes go out, and server farm immediately abandoned. Smokes go out, shots exchanged. Josh running for his life with like 5 HP. Mace trying to stay with him to cover him. The charge goes off onto office. Chrome breaking out into storage, give himself some of that flexibility if they got to get out of there in time. Photon Ghetto controlling server farm. Tommy Flogel in office as the shots for Marbles goes out. Revenant gonna drop Tommy and Flogel. They didn't check the pipe works where Revenant likes to lurk. And he strikes two as Photon and Ghetto come out into the pipe works. Drop Revenant, but Gravy getting revenge for his comrade who is gonna drop Photon with the Ligros. And Ghetto with the Saber, now a little scared on going onto those pipe works with Chrome as it is a 2v4 with Chrome being very low, Ghetto at full health, Josh within a pistol shot, Marbles at half, but Mace and Gravy in kind of good health as Mace is going to take a couple shots. Chrome goes down to Marbles. They trade, and it's just Ghetto. But he says,
Well,
no, man, not this.
He does have the saver. He could potentially save it again, but I honestly don't see him doing that. He'll probably just try to go for as much damage as he can if he finds any surefire kills there. He is still in Surefire going for those long angles, and he is looking the right direction. Well, not anymore, but he was earlier. Oh, there we go. He gets lit up in the back. He's just going to fall back. No, he's going to full commit to that drop. Mace is going to push him out, and let's see who can win this gunfight. It's actually Ghetto with the saber winning this, but he's extremely low now. Josh, like you said, with him pistol, Gravy at 50, technically the saber could take out both, and he doesn't even need the saber for it. He's on the bomb, he's defusing. Josh now needs to start pushing. He has the mop in hand. Both are very, very low on HP. Josh realizes it's not a bait. He needs to commit to swing. He goes for it, and it's another Bingus round, but just barely.
That's the closest round we've had. That is the closest round we've had in terms of health. Like, my goodness. 5 HP.
Well, it is what it is. It's, again, it was a super close round. It was closer than we expected it to be, but somehow in the end, Bingus, they end up pushing their way through, clawing their way through even. So, well, it is what it is.
5-3, so we're starting to see that gap growing. It's not a tie anymore. It's not 1 point. We're getting to that gap now that we're seeing Bingus kind of solidify themselves. So if the next round goes to Bingus, we're gonna see a 7-3. If this one goes to Bingus, it'll be, I mean, obviously it'll be 6-3. I'm not that bad at math, but I think if they win this round, they're gonna have that momentum to push through for that final.
Unless, I mean, even if Bingus win this round, I wouldn't say Yakuza are quite out. I feel like they could definitely get a round or two in before they eventually succumb to Bingus. But yeah, I do think that Bingus win this either way.
So this bank map, I think I was casting with Echo. I think it was a GB game where GB was down. It was a 2v5, but all 5 were in accounting. And Vault was open. And I think Akaza was back in loans, and I think Plebdo was going on to bomb, and they all single file out into their own barbed wire, and they just get absolutely massacred. And the 2-5 becomes a 2-0, and they clutch the round. I think it was a 2-4, but it could have been a 2-5, 2-4. But it was dangerous. It was bad. So I'm hoping that that isn't going to be the case here, that they don't just give up so much control so early. But it looks like they want to push through into manager and lobby. And are they putting 1 or 2 in the vault? They're putting 2 in the vault. They got Mace and Revenant in the vault. So technically, as of right now, it is a 3v5 in this main bank. It's a 3v5.
First of all, it's super funny they're doing this when Revenant and we had a very long rant about people putting people in Vault, especially 2 or even 3. We were just both very mad about that. I do very much like that Barb, though, in Vault. I do feel like you can just kind of get a lot with it, especially if you're playing Molly's, but back to round at hand. Chrome's going to get the entry onto Josh. Marbles now needs to fall back closer to Grady. He's going to be playing in loans, which, well, on paper it has a lot of cover. You can be behind the table, and there's also glass, but glass gets broken pretty fast, and well, so does Marble's skull. I'm just going to find him, and it's just all up to Gravy to stall for at least 30 more seconds, and then maybe Mason Rev have a chance of salvaging this, but I don't see it very likely. I think this was a round gifted to Yakuza by Bingus for, well, practically free.
Yeah. Chrome kind of scared to hit the button. He has no idea what's on the other side of the door, but he doesn't know that obviously Gravy is playing a bit further back, so the vault's going to be open. Revenant and Mace playing. Revenant giving up his molly to Mace for him to play back. Shots go out. Revenant keeping his head down. He is at half health, and now here's where the funneling begins. Gravy just needs to wait. Flash out. Revenant full flash. They rush on through. Gravy runs out, finds Tommy, is able to find Photon, is dropped by Flogo. Gettle shoving his face into Mace. As the Molotovs are going to block Mace off, Flogo tries to get the defuse going. He's struggling to go back and forth here. It's up to Chrome, rushing into Mace, but they're going to line up!
Oh my god! No way!
They line up as Mace gets a collat, pretty much. I don't think it was Flogo's intention to line up there, as he was just trying to dance around the Molotovs.
Oh my god. Bingus push match point off of that lineup. What a clutch. Mace was flashed multiple times. He was alone. He was low on HP. He had used all of his utility. He was, I think, on the last AK mag, maybe even. And he somehow pulled through. They lined up for him. That was such a blunder coming out from Yakuza, and my heart is breaking for them because they played around relatively well. They did things by the checkbook, by the textbook. They checked everything off their list. They went for a roam clear. They got button. They pushed in. They got the flashes in. They played that around okay, and well, losing it like that is just kind of heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie, especially after the Mollies both kind of missed the bomb and they didn't actually deny the push.
As you said, it was very heartbreaking. They rush in and they just kind of give him a kiss. They didn't get to kill. Like, they should have killed him there, but he just kind of like shoves his face. Like, don't worry, guys, I'll stop the gun bullets with my face. And wasn't able to get the kill there. And the unfortunate collat. Just that is heartbreaking. That is a round that should have gone into your favor, but just a very slight misplay, and it goes the other way. And as I don't think they intentionally lined up. I think that was just purely coincidental and very unfortunate. But we're back on Kill Dome. We're back on Urgent Justice. By urgent and justice, we mean urgent justice. Boxy is tired and I am hungry, but this could go back. This could go back. They could fight back. That could have been the anger they needed to bring this back and tie it, or it could have been the determination Bingus needed to just push through and get match point.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way that Yakuza come back from this one. Can they get another round? Sure. Can they get 2 more rounds? Maybe, but unlikely. Can they tie this one up? Absolutely not. If that happens, well, I'll eat my shoes, is what Doodler said to me the other day, so I guess I'm gonna say the same.
Well, we still got the mop in play. Ghetto holding the mop. They were able to pick that up from Josh last round, who was first picked. So they were to sprint through and actually pick that up and recover it on the bank map. So mop is still in play.
When Bingus were defending this, they had 3 people aggressively swing beach, and then Josh was also kind of getting aggressive with the mop there on the beach. And, well, I'm glad to see Yakuza are just doing their own thing. They're much more passive with it, and they're just holding this much more passively. There is one person deep in base, but they get flash, they get pushed out with Gravy. So he gets taken out by a crossfire. Revenant does find one of his own, so the main count is even out at the moment. But it's a good start for Yakuza.
Yeah, Revenant gets dropped by Chrome, but Chrome immediately refragged by Mace. Ghetto getting that shot onto Gravy in the beginning. Secures that kill by Photon. Josh playing really close to that door. Tommy kind of dropping down, realizing someone was pretty close to him. Josh getting some shots off. Marbles slowly creeping around. He's not sure where the mop is right now. Mace over there picking up another flashbang. Ghetto doesn't really want to peek anything. He's just taking it slow here. Throws the Molotov down below. Both sides not really knowing where everyone is right now. Obviously the power is out, so defenders having a little more harder time there. Full flash onto Tommy. Josh shoves out there. Photon in the fight for his life here. Holding on for dear life. Marbles in the crossfire. He's caught between 3 people. Mace drops Photon. It's all up to Ghetto as he finds Josh. Mace, realizing that he has to reload, will rush him, kill him, defuse the bomb. It's 7-3. The 2-0 prediction comes to fruition.
Well, I guess it really does. I don't even know what to say here. I did predict excuse me, I did predict Bingus to win this one out easily. I do feel like Yakuza gave them more trouble than Bingus anticipated in game 2. Game 1 was relatively, problem free, at least for Bingus. But I'm glad that Yakuza showed some signs of life, even if they did end up getting 7-3, 7-3. Yeah.
If it was a crime scene, there was definitely signs of struggle. Like,
oh, wow.
like that. I guess that's one way to put it. Like, it's a crime scene, but Bingus being the murderer. But there was definitely signs of like a big struggle. Like they fought back hard, and as we pointed out, they were very close rounds. It wasn't just oh, this round is definitely theirs. There were a couple of those on both sides, but a lot of the rounds were like someone is getting, like, as we saw, someone got out with 5 HP or 50 HP. Like, it was close.
Yep. Okay, well, this is mostly it from us. Unless you have any closing thoughts, Melvin?
This was a good day of due process. That's all I'm gonna say. It was a good game, good games. While it was 7-3s, it was close. It was close. It's very easy to say, well, 7-3 doesn't sound close, but as we've said the entire series, it was close. The games or the maps themselves were close, but ultimately Bingus goes through, and we see Bingus and GB, which I think is gonna be very exciting.
Yeah. Also, we weren't given any heads up that we're going back to camp, so you'll caught me stretching there. My back is a little bit broken at the moment, but it is what it is. We made it through day one of playoffs, and we still have another day tomorrow. Two more best of threes of upper league playoffs. We still have lower league going on at the same time, so there's going to be a hell of a lot of due process tomorrow. Again, I'm Buxy, as you can see down below, right there. It was Melvin with me on game two. It was Revenant with me on game one. So check us out on Twitter, shameless self blog, something, something, something. And well, I think this is it. So I hope to catch you all again tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, have a good one.
Peace out.